Nearly $1 million worth of drugs discovered in the van of a company contracted by government. What Mia Bahamas is saying tonight. Government awaiting CIBC loan approval to furnish the critical care block. Is the one and only Ocean Club being sold? Plus, the IAAF president meets the prime minister. We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight. I'm Vonnie Toot and NB12 starts now. Topping news tonight, a bus bearing the logos of the Water and Sewage Corporation and an Israeli firm hired by government for an $83 million project was filled with nearly $1 million worth of marijuana when intercepted by DEU officers this morning. 3 Bahamian men and 1 Jamaican ages 32 to 53 have been arrested in connection with the major drug find. We asked the DEU chief whether the United States National Security Agency and the Bahamas' National Intelligence Agency have played a role in the unit's recent successes.
Drug Enforcement Unit, very pleased this morning to report another successful drug interdiction mission.
The latest drug seizure went down in southern New Providence at 6 this morning when DEU officers swooped in on this white van registered to Mia Bahamas. The firm signed a multi-million-dollar contract with government to perform a revamp of New Providence's underground water system. Commander of the Drug Enforcement Unit Superintendent Sam Butler says authorities believe the 4 suspects were transporting 37 packages of marijuana to another location when they were busted on Faith Avenue and Cowpen Road.
The white van, when examined, contained a quantity of suspected marijuana, and 4 males were taken into custody. We're able to tell you that 3 of the males are Bahamian, and the 4th male is Jamaican. The ages ranges from 32 to 53.
The drugs weighed in at 607 pounds with an estimated street value of $900,000. Butler told us one of the suspects is believed to be an employee of Mia Bahamas, which has been tasked with reducing water leakages by 50% over a 5-year period.
We are optimistic, based on the evidence we have collected thus far, that it's likely that charges be laid against those perpetrators very early within this week.
The DEU chief says officers have seized 9,000 pounds of marijuana so far this year and chalked up their recent successes to additional manpower, tips from the public, and the dedication of his team. However, we asked whether the DEU has received any assistance from the National Security Agency. According to leaked documents, a surveillance system called SOML gets access to the Bahamian GSM communications has led to the discovery of international narcotics traffickers.
We're not going to follow the media story on what's going on in the wider community.
But can you say if you've ever received assistance from the NSA?
We know that we actually have. We're not going to speak directly to the NSA. We're going to speak to our partnership that is well known with the OBAD mission. And again, our success in the Bahamas with drug interdiction would not be as successful without our partnership, our joint partnership with our OBAD mission. So we interrelate closely with the OBAD mission and its partnership.
Butler was also asked whether the Bahamas' National Intelligence Agency has assisted with drug interdiction efforts.
I cannot speak to that. Our intelligence are defined, and we just work on the intelligence that is at our desk. And we get our intelligence from various sectors of the community, the public, the private sector.
Project Director for Mia Bahamas, Paul Fanner, confirmed to NB12 that the company's bus was intercepted by DEU officers this morning and that one of the 4 suspects is one of the company's best leakage inspectors. Fanner says the worker and 2 of his colleagues worked the streets at night looking for water leaks and knocked off at 5 a.m. He says the leakage inspector dropped his 2 colleagues home and officials assumed he went home in the company bus. However, they received reports that he had been arrested this morning. Fanner made it clear the bus was not intercepted during working hours. No drugs were in the bus when he dropped off his co-workers, and Mia Bahamas does not condone illegal activity. He says officials are very disappointed and that worker will be instantly dismissed if convicted. With just 2 days left before the Bahamas host the biggest sporting event this country has ever seen, the president of the IAAF met with Prime Minister Perry Christie at his West Bay Street office this afternoon. Here's Royston Jones.
There is a lot of pressure building as the world gears up to set its eyes on the National Stadium, according to Prime Minister Perry Christie, who said he hopes this weekend is successful. Christie met with President of the International Association of Athletics Federation, Lamine Diack, at his office in the Cecile Wallace Whitfield building, where the two discussed the importance of athletics to nation building. The Prime Minister said government spent a considerable amount of resources, an estimated $10 million, in order to present a good impression of the Bahamas to the world.
Every time you do something for the first time, it's a wonderful test, particularly if you succeed in that test, and we have succeeded. I'd like really truly to thank you for the level of cooperation that you have given to our country in being able to cause this event to take place in our country.
During a brief meeting with the IAAF president, Prime Minister Perry Christie urged the organization to consider the Bahamas again for the World Relays in 2015.
I thought I should indicate as Prime Minister that I would wish for those who can be considered stakeholders to give very serious consideration to making the necessary application to qualify the Bahamas for the 2015 Games. The 2015 Games will be the year leading into the Olympics in Brazil. I would like to use the impetus that these games will be given to, or granting to our country really, towards ensuring that we now commit ourselves to making a similar effort to have our athletes sufficiently inspired.
Diack, who has headed the IAAF for more than 37 years, retires next year. He said he is happy to end his legacy with an event being hosted in the Bahamas. He gave his assurance that the country will be considered for next year's event and expressed confidence in this weekend's success.
Prime Minister, you are thanking me for having decided to hold this event in Bahamas. But I think it's up to you, up to us to thank you. Because when we had the concept of this new event, everyone was talking about in athletics, when are you going to introduce new events? When we came to this concept of relay, world relays, we were more than pleased to hear our colleague Pauline saying, we are ready.
Government estimates that the relays this weekend will generate approximately $700,000 in revenue for the Bahamas. Reporting for NB12, I'm Royston Jones.
Negotiations over a $35 million loan from CIBC First Caribbean International Bank for the purchase of equipment for the new critical care block will be finalized shortly, according to Public Hospitals Authority Managing Director Herbert Brown. He was unable to say when the new facility will be completed, but told NB12 it would happen this year. In April, Health Minister Dr. Perry Gomez said the facility will not officially open until all of its equipment is commissioned.
The final phase of it still has to be ratified, but the initial phase of the process has already been approved. Yeah. As you would have been told by the Minister in his contribution to Parliament, that a significant in excess of $10 million has already been spent on equipping a portion of the critical care block. In fact, the full lab has been equipped as a result of the initial $10 million that we would have received through the National Insurance Board. So we are well on our way of acquiring or procuring all of the equipment that's necessary for the critical care block.
F&M Deputy Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sand said last month he does not expect that facility to open anytime soon and called it an unbelievable disappointment. Asked about criticisms over the delay in opening the new multi-million-dollar facility, Brown said this.
I am focused on seeking to ensure that the critical care block is completed, and I am not going to get into all of the discussions about it not being finished. I think we are focused, as we speak today, as an example. We are finalizing a team from one of our major providers of equipment to come in to inspect some of the equipment that would have been installed.
For the first time in any healthcare facility in the country, Brown says they will have a solar system. He says a significant portion of the critical care block will be operating on solar energy, thus reducing the cost of electricity. Brown was unable to say what percentage of the critical care block has been equipped, but insisted there are several areas that are either fully or partially equipped.
We are going to ensure that we do everything that is right. There are some things that we have to do to get it right, and so that's what we are focusing on. I assure you, though, that we are working tirelessly to get it completed, and it will be completed this year.
The Ingram administration broke ground on the project in November 2011, and it was expected to be completed no later than June 2013. The $100 million facility will include a new central sterile department, 18 recovery beds, 20 private ICU rooms, and 48 neonatal intensive care beds. When MB12 returns, the latest on Ocean Club sale talks, plus MasterCard targets a new Bahamian market. So stay with us.